You may have thought the conflict was just between the two of you, but suddenly, other people seem to know a distorted version of your private life. A relative calls to suggest you are being unreasonable. A mutual friend urges you to just apologize and keep the peace. Or you notice that someone else is carrying messages, monitoring your social media, or defending behavior that hurt you. When a private dynamic becomes a public campaign, you are experiencing the disorientation of recruited third parties. Welcome to Narcissistic Abuse Unmasked. In this episode, we are looking at how controlling dynamics often expand beyond a single relationship through triangulation and abuse by proxy. Before we begin, remember that we use terms like narcissistic to describe a pattern of behavior in an educational context. Only a qualified clinician can diagnose narcissistic personality disorder, and you do not need a diagnosis to recognize when a pattern is harming you or to take steps to protect your peace. Today, we will explore why other people get pulled into the dynamic, how to recognize the pattern, and how to protect your boundaries when you feel outnumbered. To understand how other people are used, we first have to understand triangulation. In any relationship, when tension builds between two people, it is common to seek outside support. That is a normal part of how families and friends manage stress. But in a coercive or controlling dynamic, triangulation is used differently. Instead of seeking healthy support, the abusive person brings a third party into the dynamic to bypass direct communication, evade accountability, or create rivalry. They might compare you unfavorably to an ex-partner to make you feel insecure. They might use a friend to deliver a message rather than speaking to you directly, forcing you to compete for their attention. Or they might share selective, distorted information with your family to ensure that if you ever speak up about the abuse, your family will already doubt your credibility. Triangulation shifts the focus. Instead of addressing the harm they caused, the person using this pattern makes the issue about who the third party believes, who they prefer, or who they agree with. A useful question is not simply, is a third person involved? It is, how are they being involved? Healthy support usually respects privacy, allows people to make their own choices, and encourages direct, safe communication when that is appropriate. Manipulative triangulation carries private claims, pressures you to surrender a boundary, compares you with someone else, or treats your refusal to participate as proof that you are the problem. A trustworthy supporter can tolerate not knowing every detail. A recruited intermediary may insist that you accept someone else's version before the pressure will stop. When triangulation escalates, it can become abuse by proxy. This is when an abusive partner uses family, friends, coworkers, or even authorities to harass, harm, or control you. In survivor communities, these recruited third parties are often called flying monkeys, a reference to the characters who did the Wicked Witch's bidding in The Wizard of Oz.
It is important to understand that not everyone who participates in this pattern is acting with malicious intent. Some third parties are deliberately recruited to spread rumors, monitor your whereabouts, or intimidate you. But others are sincerely manipulated. They may be told a compelling story in which the abusive person is the victim, and they may genuinely believe they are helping by pressuring you to reconcile, drop a boundary, or apologize. The message may even arrive wrapped in concern. We are worried about you, or this does not sound like you. Concern can be genuine, but genuine concern still respects your autonomy. It does not demand private information, monitor your movements, or make access to the group conditional on abandoning a boundary. The impact on you, however, is often the same. You may face a coordinated campaign of pressure on social media, repeated unwanted contact through mutual friends, or even false reports made to your employer or to protective services. Whatever the recruited third parties understand, the effect of proxy abuse can be to isolate you, exhaust your defenses, and extend control even after you have tried to create distance.
The most destabilizing consequence of this pattern is the intense isolation it creates. When people you previously trusted begin repeating the abusive person's narrative, you may feel an overwhelming urge to explain yourself, to provide evidence, and to win them back. Defending yourself against a coordinated smear campaign is exhausting. It keeps your nervous system in a state of high alert, and it keeps your energy focused on the abusive person rather than on your own recovery. You may begin to question your own memory of events, a form of gaslighting achieved through sheer numbers. If you have found yourself isolated or doubting your own reality because of what others are saying, please know that this is how the pattern can function. You are not failing. Repeated social pressure can weaken your support system and make it harder to trust your own perspective. Why does this pattern continue, especially after a relationship ends? Often, it happens because separation threatens the abusive person's sense of control. If they can no longer influence you directly, they may use the people around you to maintain a connection, gather information, or retaliate against a boundary. The pattern also repeats because it is highly effective at provoking a response. If a rumor causes you to break your silence and reach out to defend yourself, third-party pressure may continue because it has succeeded in reestablishing contact. Repeated engagement can keep the triangle active, even when your intention is simply to correct the record.
Breaking the cycle of triangulation and proxy abuse requires a shift in strategy. You cannot control what another person tells others, and a public battle over competing stories often consumes more energy than it restores. Instead, focus on what you can control. First, practice selective engagement. You do not owe an explanation to anyone who disrespects your boundaries or insists on acting as a messenger. If a mutual friend repeatedly brings up the abusive person, you have the right to ask them to stop and to step back from the friendship if they refuse. A brief response can be enough. "I will not discuss this through an intermediary," or "Please contact me only about the practical issue we share." You do not have to present your entire history in order for a simple boundary to be valid. Second, protect your information. Tighten your digital privacy settings and be mindful of what you share with people who might relay it back to the abusive person. Document harassment, stalking, or unwanted contact safely, keeping records like emails, voicemails, and a timeline of events. Finally, if leaving or setting boundaries increases your risk of danger, stalking, or retaliation, do not navigate it alone. Consider contacting a qualified domestic abuse advocate or a trauma-informed professional from a safe device to create a personalized safety plan. A story does not become true just because several people repeat it. You do not need to convince everyone of your reality in order to heal. You only need to trust yourself and invest your energy in the few people who offer consistent, respectful support. If you found this episode helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need it. You're not alone. Your experience matters, and healing is possible.